Hey everybody, today we're going to look at arithmetic sequences. So arithmetic sequences are a pattern where you're increasing by the same number each time or decreasing, and that pattern is by adding or subtracting. We think about it more as adding a negative number. So as I mentioned in the notes, the explicit rule is a rule that helps you find any term you want. So the way the explicit rule looks for arithmetic sequences is in order to find the term you're looking for, so say you want to find the 1,000th term, you would first plug in the first term, and then for D you're plugging in the common difference, so whatever you're adding or subtracting by, and then whatever term you want. So if you wanted the 1,000th term, there's where you would plug in 1,000 and subtract 1, and when you evaluate this, it'll give you the 1,000th term, which would be the AN. So for example, with the problem up here, the pattern is we're adding by 2 each time. So my D, or my common difference, is 2. So if I wanted to fill out the explicit rule, it would look like, say I wanted to find, let's do the 100th term. So in order to fill out the explicit rule for the 100th term, we'd be looking for A, 100, equals the first term, so 3 plus D, which is 2, and then N is 100 minus 1. So that would allow me to find the 100th term. If you just wanted to find any term, so if we just said like the nth term, so if we just really, actually, I'm going to say if they just asked for the explicit rule. So if they said, what's the explicit rule for this problem? Then you're writing a rule that allows you to find any term. So the explicit rule would look like AN equals A1, which is 3, plus D, which is 2, and then you just say N minus 1. So that in and of itself is the explicit rule for this problem. You can distribute the 2 if you want to, but honestly I usually just leave my explicit rules in this format. For the recursive rule, you always have to state the first term first. The recursive rule means you need to know the term before in order to find the next term. So in order to find any term, you need to know the first term. So when you write it, you always say A1 equals whatever the first term is, and then AN, so whatever term you're looking for, then put in the previous term, and then whatever your common difference is. So if I wanted the recursive rule for this problem, I would first state my A1, which is 3, because that's the first term, and then AN equals AN minus 1 is the previous term, so you would just say AN minus 1 to represent the previous term, plus the common difference, which is 2. Sorry, that's an A. So if they asked you to find the 100th term here, it wouldn't be as easy because you would have to know the 99th term. So you could find the second term off of this by plugging in 3 for the previous term to find A2, but the recursive rule would be a bad way to find the 100th term. But the explicit rule allows you to find any term you want. So explicit is generally the better form for finding any term in a sequence. Hopefully now you got a good understanding of an explicit and a recursive rule for arithmetic sequences, so go and try the practice problems now.